Today, as part of the series of lectures regarding the secrets of the immune system, we are going to discuss what are the types of immune response that our immunity develops. And this is usually related with a type of pathogen or disease that we are talking about. And the immune system can structure an entire program of protocols to fight a particular type of disease. Okay? So there are essentially, when we talk about immune response, there are essentially 4 types of immune response: the Th1, the Th2, the Th17, and the TFH. So the type of immune response depends on the condition or the pathogen that we are talking about. For example, for the Th1 immune response is mostly related with intracellular pathogens. Okay, so every type of pathogen, we're talking bacteria, parasites, or viruses, that they infect a cell inside of the cell and they modify this cell. And the main defining cytokine for this kind of immune response is the interferon gamma. So what is a cytokine actually? Cytokine is a chemical, is a substance that drops in the blood when you have an inflammation process, either systemically, when I say systemically, is in the entire body, or locally in a particular part of the body. It doesn't matter. When you have an inflammation process or infection, there is a profile or there is a kind of a signature of chemicals that will drop in your blood. And when you have a Th1 response happening at that particular time, the main characteristic of this immune response is that in the blood you will find high levels of a particular chemical or cytokine that we call, which is called interferon gamma. Okay? So this type of immune response actually is very, it's in the cellular level. It's a type of immunity that will fight cells. What kind of cells? It doesn't target or fight the bacteria only or the virus only. It's not actually that. It will try to destroy our own cells that are the reservoirs of infection. Because our cells, in face of these pathogens, they are infected. So they are useless. So they are actually the factory of new viruses, of new bacteria, of new parasite, fungi. They are the factory. So our immunity understands that to fight this pathogen, actually we need to destroy the cells that are sick. So the type of immune response will develop new partners and chemicals that will destroy our own cells that are sick, that are ill, right? And that's why our immunity use this type of immune response to fight cancer. Because what is cancer? Cancer is a problem that emerges in a defected cell. So our immunity uses this type of immune response, which is constituted in a manner to fight pathogens in a cellular level. So it will also fight cancer in the cellular level. So for the Th1 immune response, the recipe that is used by our immunity includes chemicals that drop in the blood that will coordinate the cells to fight intracellular pathogens or cancer cells in the same way. Okay, so it used this recipe, this formula, this protocol, series of chemicals like interferon gamma, IL-12, TNF-alpha, IL-1 beta, and so on. So these are the chemicals, this is the formula, this is like the recipe of the immune response, right? It's always like this. But when our immune system wants to fight an extracellular pathogen, a parasite, a big one like an helminth, like a worm, it's a different type of organism. It's a different pathogen. It's not a unicellular organism. It's not like in the cellular level. It's really big. It's a multicellular organism. So it needs a different type of immune response to fight these dudes. So we need a different formula. We need different cells. We have other types of immune cells that will fight these dudes. And to activate those cells, we have a different recipe. So our immune system identified the problem and say, okay, well, for this kind of problem here, for this type of pathogen, we need to activate other cells. So let's release in the blood the chemicals, the recipe, the formula that will activate the cascade of immune reactions to fight these pathogens. So for fighting extracellular pathogens, we have the Th2 type of immune response. And the recipe for that is nothing but chemicals that drop in the blood, like IL-5, IL-4, IL-13, all right? What is IL? Interleukin. Interleukin 4, interleukin 5, interleukin 13, and so on. So they are different ones. There's always a similar pattern of interleukins. So the Th1 subset, how an immunity response is constituted, it always includes the communication with the innate arm of immune response with the adaptive arm of immune response. They kind of connect. When there is a problem, when there is a pathogen, when there is a cancer cell, there's always the innate immunity that detects that first and presents the problem to the adaptive immunity. So the innate immunity is constituted mostly, in this case here, for example, by dendritic cells. Dendritic cells, cells full of dendrites, they kind of take the pathogen and with their arms and hands, they present, introduce it to the adaptive arm of our immunity, which is constituted, for example, by lymphocytes, T cells, the T effector cells, the T helper cells. So when the dendritic cells are presenting fungi, viruses, or bacteria, or even a fragment of a cancer cell, the dendritic cells start secreting the chemicals that will tell the lymphocytes, hey, this is an intracellular infection. So they produce, for example, IL-12. And these activate a gene program in the lymphocytes that make them become Th1. And there will be a way that Th1 will behave. So Th1 cells will say, okay, intracellular response because the dendritic cells is telling me that it's a cancer or viruses or bacteria, whatever. I will behave in a way to eliminate the reservoirs of infection. I will attack the host cells that are full of viruses, that are full of bacteria, or the host cancer cells that are full of crap mutations, whatever. It will destroy it. So the Th1 type of lymphocyte will be converted during this presentation process by the chemicals that are dropped in the bloodstream or in the lymphatic system that activates them. So if you look in this figure, this is the program that I'm talking about. So the dendritic cells are here, and they are introducing or presenting the pathogen to the T cell that we call naive because they are still ignorant. They don't know what to do. So they receive the chemicals here, like IL-12, for example. And IL-12 is also secreted by macrophages. They are environmental cells that are also coordinating this response and telling the T cell, well, hey, this is an intracellular infection or a cancer. So it will start training the T cells to become specifically the Th1 type of T cell. So you can see here in the genetic level, the chemokines, the cytokines or chemicals start activating what we call transcription factors. What is that? It's a factor, it's a protein or a factor that are in the cytoplasm of these cells that will go straight to the DNA to activate a transformation program. And the DNA will tell the cell, hey, the environment is telling me here to change, so let's change. They start expressing specific genes that were previously sleeping. And the genes are nothing but another recipe that will tell the cell what it should transform to. So it will transform into a Th1 type of cell. So now you have like Th1 cells transformed, and they produce high level of interferon gamma that will even empower this kind of immune response to eliminate our defected or diseased cells. All right? This happens always when you have a microbial infection with an intracellular pathogen, talking fungi, viruses, or even intracellular parasites, and also cancer. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.